Um, and it's also Punchy is also on YouTube. Punchy on YouTube and Punchy TV. All right. Let me go quickly back to Wayne out of Texas. And Wayne is a pilot and discussing the DEI. Wayne, do you believe or have you noticed or do you believe that they have DEI in the airline industry now?
No, I haven't noticed. Once again, I'm an airline transport pilot as opposed to just a regular private pilot, and we get a lot of training. We handle emergencies and all that kind of stuff like that. The accident you showed yesterday, if you noticed, it was a very small airplane.
Yeah.
So that guy has not been through the kind of rigorous training that the people that fly the big planes go through.
And how do you know that?
Because I'm a pilot. I know the smaller jets, the companies, they don't, not that they don't have enough money to do it, but we used to go through twice a year, like every 6 months. It would be like taking a driver's test all over again.
And so are you saying that DEI doesn't exist in the airline industry?
I wouldn't go that far. I would say that the pilots, as far as the guys that operate the aircraft, there's not too much DEI there because you have to meet a certain standard, and if you don't meet it, if you fail a test twice, you're fired.
How come I noticed that over the years, the last few years, they have gotten rid of all of the trained, nearly all, not all, but most of the trained white pilots that were in the military and things like that. They've gotten rid of them and replaced them with black women and some black men and all kind of mess. If DEI is not prevalent in the airline industry, why did they get rid of the white men who were trained to be pilots by being in the military?
That's because, well, first of all, I think the percentage of minorities that are in the airline would be probably just around probably 8%. Women would probably be about 3%. So it's still majority white men. Not that that makes a difference. The reason why we don't have as many military pilots anymore is because the military has cut back on the number of people that they're training. So you find that, like myself, for example, I actually paid for my own training from my savings. I went to school and paid for it. But a lot of guys, they go into the military and 10 years after they come out and they're lucky they get a job. So the reason why they're not...
No, finish your point. The reason they're not what?
No, I'm just going to repeat. Go ahead.
Okay. I noticed that, I know you're right about the pilots who are in these smaller planes, they're not as well trained as the pilots in the big plane, passenger plane. But I do know for a fact, because I know several pilots, that experienced white men have been taken out of the airline industry and replaced it with people of color, DEI people, homosexuals and lesbians and everything. and and so I do know that is happening, but you sound like you're not either not paying attention to it or they or something, because they forced these white trained pilots out.
Well, Jesse, an airline pilot like myself, I make well past $250,000 to $500,000 a year, and ain't nobody gonna push me out and make me leave my job. So what I'm trying to say is that
you're black. You don't have to worry about it.
Even the white guys ain't gonna let nobody. Once you get your seniority, it's like a military thing. You get seniority and then you get promoted. Once you get your seniority, you ain't leaving for nothing. They can't just kick you out unless you fail a test or something like that. It's all unionized. It's like the teachers union. They can't just put you out like that. I don't know where you're getting the statistics from. But they cannot just put people out like that. That's crazy.
This white pilots resign rather than taking the Chinese virus
Oh yeah,
shot.
yeah. I was there. I was there for that, and they threatened us with they're gonna fire us if we don't take the Chinese virus shot. And I didn't. I didn't take the shot. And then they end up, I kind of called their bluff, and they end up not firing us. A lot of people took it because they got scared. But me being, of not in the fallen state, I was not scared. I was like, okay, go ahead and fire me. And they didn't. They end up not firing the whole of us.
So you didn't take the jab, right?
No, I did not.
And so are they hiring the white experienced pilots back, or are they bringing in the DEI people?
In my particular airline company, nobody was fired because they did not take the jab. They gave us the opportunity to say, okay, well, this is the religious reasons why we're not taking it. We had to write a letter, or we had to take the jab. I wrote the letter, but my letter didn't go through, and I just didn't take the jab, and then they end up not doing anything about it. Not one person was fired, because that's totally illegal.
Yeah.
Nobody in my company employs about 10,000 pilots, and not one person got fired.
According to the New York Post, the FAA reversed their hiring to favor ethnic minorities. They got sued for this. Do you know about that?
No, but I know the FAA is just a licensing board. It's like if I get a driver's license and I want to go drive a taxi, the taxi company would be the one really screening me. The FAA may give me, a license, but for me to actually get the job, they put you through rigorous flight tests. You have to do a whole ton of written tests. You're not just going to go in there and pass the test. Even if you have a fake license, you're going to have to prove yourself in the simulators. They have these things they call simulators.
What do you think about, and then I got to run, but what do you think about the pressure from the government, the media, and activists to, that they put on the airline to train and hire so-called diverse pilots? What do you think about that?
Well, I would say it depends on what job area it is. If you're looking at, people that are taking tickets or stuff that's not safety sensitive, then, it's okay. But when it's something that's safety sensitive, I don't think DEI should be involved in that.
But why should the government, the media, and activists be allowed to put pressure on the company at all to tell them who they should or should not hire?
Well, I believe if I have a small company, then I don't think the government should have jurisdiction to tell me stuff like that. But if I have a public company, like for example, UPS hires, they have so many employees. I want to say, I don't know how much, but they have employees as much as one of our states. They probably have more employees than that. And so since they're so big, they should be able to, help other people get in. Like, you don't want to just hire all, one race. You want to have a diversity of people.
Why? If you want to hire, if you own your own company and you just want to hire white people, 100% white people, why shouldn't you do that if that's what you want to do for your company?
Well, I agree with you. If you own your own company,
a company like a big company like the one you just named,
UPS.
UPS. Why shouldn't UPS be allowed to hire all 100% white people if that's what they want to do? What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with it. Like for example, it's kind of fair, to try to give everybody a chance. I think
But how is it unfair? How is it not fair to hire all white people? They're giving all white people a chance, right? What's unfair about that?
Well, that's not. There's no big deal. That brings the question. You seem to think that white people can do a job better than black people.
Yes.
I think it's a matter of training. If you come up and you're properly trained, and you come out from, you have a father in the house, you have everything going right, you have your mother, and you're all ready. If you're properly trained, I don't think your color matters.
But if you notice, though, And if you notice, white people tend to put more effort in things, whereas non-white people don't put as much effort. So the qualification is not going to be the same because non-white people don't work as hard nowadays. Have you noticed that?
No, I would say it depends on, again, the background of the individual. Like, for example, yourself, you put a lot of effort into your work, you know, and me, I put a lot of effort. When I go to do my training tests as, you know, as a pilot, I don't joke around. I'm well prepared because this is how I feed my family. So I go in down there with, you know, like, you could send Satan to test me. I will pass that test because I'm well prepared. I've seen other white guys that they just come in there and I'm like, whoa, this guy doesn't even know the answers for these things and stuff like that. And they could do that because, like, you know, they're fucking white. Excuse my language. They're white. They can do that. But me, a black man, I got to go in there, I have to have my P's and Q's all crossed. Not that I have to, but I just make sure that my P's and Q's are crossed. When I've noticed that my counterparts, some of them white, they go in there like, whatever, you know?
That's because they're smarter.
No, I can see them performing. They're not the reason why I know they were not ready is because their performance is below my standard.
But if you notice, though, and then I got an amazing call, though. If you notice, you're not a normal black. You sound like you're from Africa, so you're not like one of those. You're not a normal black. Am I right?
That's correct. I'm not African American.
Right.
I'm from the Caribbean.
And so because of that, you will be working hard. People.
I rest my case. I rest my case.
That's right.
I rest my case.
I rest my case.
I'll call you tomorrow. I wanted to talk about why the King James Version is the best version, but we have other callers, so I'll give you a call tomorrow and we'll talk about that.
All right, make sure you do. Thank you.
Hey, Jesse, thanks a lot. Appreciate you, and all the best.
All right, you too, buddy. Amazing call. Thank you.
Bye.
Right now. Amazing. Normal blacks are the ones that don't work as hard and don't care and want it free and they feel like victims. Not African blacks. The blacks from foreign countries, they work very hard. Unless they get here and then they become Americanized. Black Americanized, then it's a different story. Super chat.